Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. So glad to be back this week and excited to invite you back into another episode of the Stop Bending Over podcast. So, in today's podcast, what we're talking about is energy. I have a sentence energy, and that's all there is, period. We are energetic beings. And so, today's episode, really, what I wanted to share with you is how we attract things into our life or repel things in our life energetically. So resonance. And I talked about that in a different episode, resonance and what it means. It means that anything that's vibrating at that same frequency, resonance is just an energetic term, means that you're a match for that. So another way of putting that is manifesting. Manifesting is literally calling in what you want because you're a match to it. Now, a lot of us have also, hold please, well, not actual hold. Another thing, another piece for today's episode, because I'm recording this right before Thanksgiving, and I want to share with you how to protect your own energy, your own authenticity, when you go to relatives or friends' home. It can be anywhere, but just really how to show up and protect yourself so that you feel like yourself and you're not constantly being triggered by Uncle Pete or Aunt Aunt Betty. So, all right, so let's go back to what is resonance, what is energy, what is frequency, what do all these things mean? So you're going to hear that a lot on this podcast coming from me because spiritually, right? I am this spiritual being having a human experience. I have a master's in spiritual psychology, so everything that I do, all my coaching, my workshops, my trainings, the way I speak, the way I live my life is based in what I believe, it's my own belief, that thoughts become things, that how I show up for myself is on purpose for whatever is the purpose in that moment, in that season of my life. There's no accidents. And the more I uncover, heal things, process things from the past, whether it's from childhood or a situation or something I made something mean about myself, anytime I'm doing that, what happens, that's a season for me. That's an iteration of my life, how I'm showing up and what I'm getting from how I'm showing up energetically. So if I'm having a big upset about a past event, right, and I've made it mean something about me or someone else, I'm wrong, they're wrong, drama triangle. First of all, you know me. Well, you don't know, maybe not yet know me, but I love to coach on the drama triangle because it's how we actually stay stuck when we stay in this upside down triangle that is the drama triangle. So when we're there, right? So when I'm upset, it's okay to have upsets. Obviously, we're human. We have all the emotions. What happens though is we are in a state of we create our own confusion. We create our own quote unquote lack of results that we say we want because part of us, and it could be unconsciously and consciously, is having an upset about something. So one, that can be a stacker, which we can talk about that on another episode, which is something that recurringly happens over and over and over. It's a pattern that we don't like, and it just keeps showing up. And no matter what we quote unquote do, it doesn't go away. It's attached to us like glue. Well, there's a reason for that. And that is because our frequency, our energy, our resonance, literally that, whatever that thing is unconsciously, it's like knocking on the door and we haven't uncovered what it is to process, heal, release, acknowledge, bring out of the shadow so that we can work with it and move forward. So what happens is that energetically, we feel all these upsets and then we don't do anything about it. So if that's where you are right now, this episode will be really helpful for you because that piece right there, knowing that you're having an upset, and it happens over and over and over again, whether it's wanting to attract money, a partner. So here's my top three that I hear: money, AKA career or money, a partner, a relationship, intimate partnership, and health, usually weight. So in these three areas, what happens is that when we're getting the same thing over and over and over, that's like you going to the hallway where your thermostat resides and seeing that it's too hot in the house and so you turn it down, or too cold in the house so you turn the heat up. Well, that's a thermometer, it's a temperature, it's reading the room. Your thermostat in your hallway is reading the room's temperature. Most of us don't realize is that we can read our own temperature, but we don't do that. We just keep reacting over and over and over, either with frustration and upset because we're not getting what we want, or we're happy in one area, career or money and friends, and then have no intimate partnership and we're super frustrated, right? So I'm going to break it down like this today so it doesn't go super long. And we're going to be doing Manifestation Magic series from now all the way through the end of the year, all the way through December. So you'll get at least 5 episodes of that, because it's right before 2024. That's when this is being recorded. And to me, this is how we finish the year strong, is that we really take a look, mirror time. How am I showing up? How am I getting what I'm getting? What am I willing to do to shift consciously and my unconscious, bringing that along with me, because that girl is running the show, right? And so this is about you showing up consciously, committed, and courageously, right? Go to episode 2, courage, no, clarity, courage, confidence. I just forgot the title. Episode 2. And it's courageously stepping in, and then the confidence shows up as we move forward. When we get a few wins or even a few quote unquote failures, we start to feel ourselves. We're like, okay, I got this. That didn't work, but this does work. I like how I feel. Just by stepping in, we create confidence, just by saying yes. So this episode today, I'm going to break everything down: frequency, energy, resonance. When I say those words, they're interchangeable. It's really composed, your frequency or your energetics are composed of your dominant feelings, beliefs, thoughts, assumptions, attitudes, and identity about yourself and the world, right? So, how do I say this? Your that dominant idea of you, let's call it your identity for now, is, and how you hold it for yourself in any area of your life creates your dominant energy or resonance for that area of your life. So I'll put it like this. Let's say that you are doing really well in your career, doing great in your money, and the intimate partnership piece, you just can't seem to, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, conquer, attract, call in. So I'm going to tell you right now, and I've seen it over and over and over. And I wrote a few notes earlier to remember to share this on today's podcast about, because I had a woman was talking to me at a social gathering a couple of weeks ago, saying how she's killing it in her career and she's crushing it in the money. She loves where she lives. She lives, loves her friends group, and she just can't she just can't seem to manifest or call in a partner of quality. So I'm talking to her a little bit. And basically what she said was that she's afraid. She's scared. She doesn't want to be vulnerable. She doesn't want to, I don't want to get hurt. Okay, well then you can get hurt. My granddaughter went on a walk this morning and tripped and scraped her knee and her belly up. Poor little cute thing. You're going to get hurt. It's like saying, I don't want to breathe. It's impossible to not get quote unquote hurt in life. We're human and we have the range of emotions. So when we go back to this piece of dominant energies, her dominant energy in that area of intimate partnership is, I don't want to get hurt. It's a big I don't want. So anytime we have a big I don't want, our unconscious doesn't process negatives. It doesn't know if it's real or imagined. That's how strong our mind is. And it also doesn't know how to process an energetic no. So it's just like, okay, not get hurt, no partner, no one's going to hurt me. I'm not willing to do this. So it's just taking all that and you're pre-paving, you're programming the supercomputer to literally keep your energy, right? Mind, thoughts become things, mind first. You're literally programming yourself to not call in the partner, not call in the money, not call in the job. And I know for everyone that's listening that wants to call something in that you haven't manifested yet, there can be a limitation, a perceived limitation or unconscious block to getting that. And so here's the thing is, the reason I say dominant is because we're human and we're not always thinking the right thoughts or feelings or feeling in alignment, or, I mean, look what's going on in the world, war. It's just so upsetting. So we can be off of our manifestation game. We can be off of our um, positive growth mindset sometimes. That's okay. No one's saying we're supposed to be perfect. I sure am not. I get pissed. I stumble. I do all the things. And for those of you that are on here and you might be allergic to swearing, you may have hives if you keep listening to me, because I do swear. I'm really passionate about this work, and I'm passionate about other. If when you're listening to this, I consider you part of my community, and I'm very passionate about really ferrying people over in the boat from the side of being really unconscious and triggered and having their life not work out and feel stuck and broken, all the things, and ferrying people over, supporting them to the island of whatever it is that you want. Not the island of misfit toys from Rudolph. Although, I'm a misfit toy, so maybe we can all be on that island together and be rich as fuck. Why not? You can have whatever you want. There's no wrong in wanting or having. There is no wrongdoing in it. That's another thing that I see as a block. So here's the thing to pay attention to. Here's my question for you. What is your dominant energy? What's your dominant way of being and or feeling right now? In any area that you identify where you want something, what is your dominant feeling? What's your dominant belief? Because a belief, like I said last episode, your belief is nothing more than a thought that you've thought over and over and over with some emotion attached to it. And then it becomes a belief and we say, oh, it's true. Maybe not, right? So this is about being open to looking and seeing new ways of being so that we can move into different ways of doing and then different ways of having. So this episode, I should probably name it DSD, do something different. What I really want to say is, as you know, I want to throw the F word in there, and not fine, which is the F word. Do something fucking different. We're not going to be able to have something different if we keep doing the same thing over and over. It's just not going to happen. So we can be off in our manifestation game when our mind goes a little wonky. It's fine. We just get back on track. The thing to pay attention to is, what is your dominant way of being, right? So here's what we're going to switch it up to. This is going to lead me right into the holiday talk. You're getting the holiday, the holiday family talk. And the holiday family talk is what I want you to, oh gosh, camera issue. Even though you're on a podcast, I am on video. So you can always go to YouTube and watch the full videos of these. If I can get all the technology to work, you'll see a video and audio. So when you're thinking about going to family, I did a little poll on Instagram and asked people, like, is it exhausting? Is it, yay, I can't wait to be with my family? And the third one was, a combo of the other two, basically. And most people said it was a combo of the other two. They love being with their family, but it's really exhausting and they need a break when they get home, right? So this is really, are you reacting to even the potential of going to someone's house, seeing Uncle Pete and Aunt Betty, right? So a reaction. So let's get the distinction between a reaction and a response. Reactions live in the drama triangle 100% of the time, because a reaction is usually something that is, we're triggered, we're engaged in a negative stress type emotion. And what else? We're not thinking ahead of what the outcome will be by our reaction to the event. So it's got some zing to it, right? That's what a reaction has. It usually comes from a trigger, and we might not be thinking of the consequence of what we're going to say or do, or how it's going to come out and affect not only ourselves, but whoever we're in conversation with. It could be a kid dropped something on the floor, one of your, you're in, and kind of start getting into a heated conversation. So think about holidays, start getting into a heated conversation with people. So that's reaction. Whereas a response is a more methodical, thoughtful, logical, reasoned way of interacting with people. So to me, responding allows me to pause in the moment. When something's going on, I just pause. I take a breath. Where can I think? Like, how am I thinking about this? What's showing up for me? And these, our reactions are triggers, are super fast. Responses, there is a pause. There's a moment where you can think about what you're going to say, what your energy is, and it's basically reading the room, so to speak, and reading your own self and the potential consequences. And this all happens in just seconds. Reactions are, it's like we have no emotional mastery, no self-control, no self-leadership. We're like, bah, it's emotionally, usually it's emotionally childish, and it usually comes from that part of us as humans, is an unprocessed part as a kid who maybe didn't get to be heard. So they want to talk over everyone. They get upset if anyone interrupts them. You can start seeing that the adults in the room start acting like children emotionally, even though chronologically they're in an adult's body. So this right here is the whole thing with holidays. All this stuff comes up, the shoulds of the parents and all the things, and young people that are young adults may feel like they're being treated like children because the people that are above them in a generation are either talking at them and telling them what they should be doing, judging them, all this stuff. So how can you protect yourself without going into reaction mode? So really, here's what I'm going to tell you. It's so simple. What is your dominant energy, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about what's going to happen when you get there, how people are going to be, how Aunt Betty's going to act, right? All these things. So you start thinking right now before the holidays even show up. It's before Thanksgiving. This podcast will come out, and it way before Christmas. So think about that. What's your dominant energy about even going? I'm going to be, so you're already pre-paving your experience by saying, I'm going to be exhausted. Someone's going to piss me off. I'm going to walk out if so-and-so does this. This is what always happens. So when we have a story about what's going to happen, that's how it has to show up for us. Remember, energy, resonance, frequency, we bring it with us, and then we dominate the room with our energy. Now think about it. Everyone else's energy is doing the same thing. So now we've got all these competing energies in a room full of people who are all fucking triggered. And maybe they're not everyone, but there's more than one usually. So what happens is something is bound to go sideways. So I wanted to share the story about a client really quickly, and we'll call her T. So she was in my coaching groups for probably a good 6 months when the first holiday came up. So she described this, how it always, quote, now remember, always, that means in all ways. So there's no way out of always and never, very limiting. How it always went in the past was that her mother would overdrink. So her parents are divorced. Her mother would overdrink and start getting kind of attacking people at the dinner table. And then her dad, so they're divorced, or they've been divorced for a long, long time, 20 years or something. Her dad would start in, and then her mom would get upset, and then someone else would get upset, and the whole thing would just turn into a shit show. So, and she ends up being the codependent rescuer, trying to fix everything and being all stressed out and neurotic and nervous before anyone shows up, because she said, I know how it's going to go. And so her husband's family would come over, and then she's embarrassed about how her mom is behaving. So all of this is way before Thanksgiving ever shows up. So she goes through the group and just made a huge 180 in just how she was holding, thinking, feeling, believing about all this, the way things were going, not just about her family, but her own life, her business, everything. Her business did 3 times the amount of money in a year through those groups. She just took it and just ran with all this coaching. So what happened on Thanksgiving when she called and when she got into the group share with everyone was that she said she let go of it. She did her complete, she meditated on it. She literally held that everyone was going to come happy, healthy, have fun, integrate. So long story short, everyone comes to Thanksgiving, her in-laws, her parents, her siblings, all friends. And not only did her mother do none of that and cause a bunch of trouble, her parents, who literally barely talked to each other, were singing duets. People were laughing, having a best time. She said it was the best Thanksgiving they had ever had. This is how you are in control of your energy. You shift the room when you shift internally. That's how powerful we are, because our thoughts become things, and that's energy. Energy is all there is. Remember that. So going into the holidays, the opportunity here for you is to really check yourself. How am I showing up? And then start pre-paving how you want it to go, how you see yourself. Let's say Uncle Pete just can't help but saying, like, you need to smile more, or whatever he says that just bugs the daylights out of you. Then you get to in your mind, run it through. Start laughing. Think like, oh, maybe that's just the only way he really knows how to say, I love you. Or that's the only way that he really knows how to connect with people is to kind of jab and poke at them at a little bit. Not saying you have to love it. You're not going to be with Uncle Pete every day. But and on these occasions, you get to choose how you're going to feel, how you're going to be. I'm not saying to let anyone abuse you. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. It's just how are you showing up? Are you showing up complaining about going, having certain people over your house? Because complaining and blaming and imagining how everyone will behave or not behave will only serve to keep you frustrated, upset, and unhappy. So if that's what you want, then keep doing that. If you don't want that, the way out is literally to shift internally. Now, somebody can say something super snark and you can say, hey, come on, this is Thanksgiving or this is Christmas. Let's just chill and just and love each other or have a great conversation. When someone wants to get aggressive, that's a whole nother story. I remove myself. I don't do aggressive. I just don't. My energy is much too sensitive for that. And so I honor you in making your own choices. You're an adult. I'm just asking for you to really check in with yourself and see where you're resonating, where your frequency is riding even before you get there. Because we can imagine a lot of worst case scenarios before the holidays ever show up. So here's what I'm saying. Now I want, so that was how to protect yourself, Thanksgiving, Christmas, holiday, parties, all that kind of stuff. That's your little toolkit, is to really show up, protect your own energy by, I protect my own energy by, I make a bubble around myself. I know it sounds funny, but an energetic bubble. It's in the shape of a heart and I stand inside of it. And so I come in with loving. And when people say things that are unloving or not, not very nice, I might do a little challenge, but I don't do much because I'm not where they are. If someone keeps pressing me, then I'll just say like, hey, I'm not available for that. And that's usually going to be one of my adult children because they trigger their mother. So that's just the way that goes. So saying that those are your tips and tools for the holidays. So now let's move on to manifesting what you want. So here's what I wrote down. So roll that internal dialogue monologue, right, into about what you're creating or not creating in an area that you really want to create something in, or bring something into the 3D physical world reality, because thoughts become things. Starts off on the mental plane, right? The spiritual plane is energy. Mental plane, also energy. So spiritually and mentally, we have the ability to co-create with God, with spirit, in infinite possibilities. Most of us think that we're these dense 3D meat suits, and we are in our physical form, which means that we can create from the mental and the spiritual realm and manifest it in our three-dimensional physical world reality. So this is where we're in charge of what we manifest in our lives. This is where we're in charge of what we have, what we want, how we can manipulate our frequency from the mental plane and attract it into our lives by matching our frequency to that which is aligned with us. So let's use money. Use money. Money is neutral. It's just energy. It's an exchange of energy between us and someone else. I said that in a couple episodes ago. So what are your dominant ways of being, thinking, and feeling about money? That's what you're attracting. So the energy that you're putting off, if there's lack, scarcity, and fear around not having enough, there's more month than money, you don't get it, Rita, I never have enough money. When you tell your unconscious that you never have enough money, because what is enough? And when you say never, it's literally taking that as a command. Never enough, never enough, never enough. And so now everything that you do, your best intentions are thwarted, let's say. You've turned the thermostat down on your manifestation magic heater, because you're literally saying audio, you're seeing audio. This is what I want, but you're saying something completely different. And our unconscious, your subconscious, I'll let you know, subconscious and unconscious to me are interchangeable, even though there's a little depth in the unconscious. We're not going to go there right now. So when you hear me say unconscious or subconscious, I'm referring to the same thing for now until I say otherwise. That's what I'm referring to. So when you're doing that, you're programming yourself to not have enough money, literally, you will always just make it, or whatever has happened in the past, that's what will show up. So when you're reacting, that's reacting. I never have enough. That's a reaction, right? To money or people, either one. On your or you're not getting the things that you want and you're frustrated and upset, you're just going to keep attracting more of that same energy into those areas. So money doesn't care if you're a good person or bad person. You want to attract a partner and you're afraid and you're not willing to be vulnerable. I don't want a guy that's a jerk. I don't want a girl that's high maintenance, which I never understand what that means. So if you know what that means, you can tell me and I'll probably laugh. I'm probably high maintenance. I'm sure. I like being high maintenance. So wait, hang on. I'm getting sidetracked. So remember, money, for sure, money follows and matches our energy. Always, always follows and matches our energy. So the same with anything else that you want to create. You're upset, scared, frustrated, annoyed. Guys are this way or women are this way. You're going to attract more of that. There is no other way around it. So it's really important to identify identify where you are in all these areas of your life, whether it's money, social, career, health, relationships, intimate partner, education, giving back, that philanthropic piece as well. So when it's important to identify, so the wheel of life exercise, for all my clients that know I love the wheel of life, it's an exercise, is great for this. It's something we do in all my workshops, and it lets you know where you are right now in any of those areas. So we have 7 areas, and in each of those areas, you score yourself on from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. So let's say you're all at 8s, and then 2 areas are at like a 4 and a 5. So since it's a wheel, part of it's going to be a little wonky, right? Because it's going to be tunk tunk. It's not going to just roll seamlessly. I'm not saying everyone's is going to roll seamlessly. What I am saying though is it shows you the areas that you're really satisfied in with where you are, and everyone's different. This is not it's not a contest. And it shows you the areas where you would like to improve or bring more of something in, more energy, more money, more friendships, more socializing, a promotion, a partnership. So it's really important to be able to know where you're starting from. It's like saying, I'm in New York and I want to get to San Diego, but I don't have a map. I don't know where to go. I don't even know, well, am I in New York? Where am I? So this is like, here's where I am and there's where I want to go. And so those are the starting points of being able to create anything in your life. You don't need to know all the hows about how you're going to get there, right? Because if you have a map, you know that somewhere on that map is going to give you some guidance to go from here to there. This is the same thing. And just for this little moment that I'll say it right now, it seems like a perfect opportunity is next month. So December, I'm holding a manifestation and vision workshop for 2024, but I'm going to hold it in December. It's going to be a live workshop. And we're going to do a lot of this manifestation magic. We're going to uncover limiting beliefs. We're going to go into dominant feelings. We're going to identify areas where you really want to create something, do some vision boarding in a different way than regular cutting out of a magazine. It's not that there's anything wrong with that, but we're going to look at things from the inside out rather from the outside in, and do this really awesome workshop. You get lots of tools and skills and takeaways to support yourself and uncover what it is that's been holding you back. Because really, when we uncover that and we're willing to work with it, that's when everything shifts. So, okay, so now going back, Wheel of Life. Okay, let me go back to this. It's something we do in my workshops. And the reason I love it so much is because then I get to be radically honest about where I am right now. So here's your next question for this episode. Where are you in an area of your life that you're having an upset in? If you were to give it a score from 1 to 10, what would you give it? 1 being least dissatisfied, 10 being satisfied. I have everything I want. I'm good, Rita. Look at this. I am the shit. So this is about looking at your life in more specifics. So when you're looking at your current reality and being like, well, I don't like this part of my reality, it's definitely a 4. I'm having an upset there. Okay, great. You know what? There's my work to do. There's my work. Or, wow, this part of my reality is going great, really well. My career is thriving and I want an intimate partner. And that's an area that's been really challenging for me in the past. Great. What are my beliefs? What are my attitudes? What's my identity around partnership? Let's say the partnership is a 4 and your career and your money is an 8, 9, 10, right? What's your identity there? What are your thoughts? What are your dominant, let's go back, dominant feelings, because dominant rules. Dominant rules. Most of us are not tracking what our dominant feelings, thoughts, and behaviors are, because you have your locus of control of what you have control over in your life is very small. It's 3 things. It's not your kids. It's not how much money you have in your bank account either. It's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. That's what you have that's your locus of control. And that's good news, because with those 3 things, people built the Golden Gate Bridge. Someone thought of it. Someone got some other like-minded people, resonance, energetics, his frequency or her frequency. I actually don't know if it was a man or woman that created that bridge. I should probably look that up, but I probably won't. So let's say someone has the idea, and then now someone else is attracted to them that has the same idea, that doesn't poo-poo it, that says like, yeah, that's awesome. Let's do something that's never been done before. It's totally possible. And they did, because they got together with other like-minded people, because energetically they matched. That's how companies start. People get together like, hey, let's do this. Yeah, let's do it. Right? Same thing. It's like getting married, having kids. You reside in a certain frequency and you agree with someone else because they reside at the same frequency. So what are your dominant feelings if relationship is something that you've been wanting to create and you haven't been able to create it yet, or anything else in your life? What are the dominant feelings in my career? So we're going to pretend like right in this moment, it's relationship. You have great in your career. We're going to switch to relationship from money. Career, great. Love how much money I'm making. Just got a promotion. Great. And then the relationship part's like a 4. Okay, how can I shift my focus? What have I been bringing to my career? What have I been bringing to my money? What have I been bringing to my work that I can bring to creating an intimate partnership? How can I move those dominant feelings to this? And then it might be that you realize that you have a competing intention, is what I will say. Which is I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to be invulnerable. I've been burned in the past. And so now that energy, that energy is what the desire is riding on. Don't want to get hurt. Remember, energy, and that's all there is. So now you're going to ask yourself, how can I bring more? How can I bring more of this focus and this positivity, this energy? What did I do? What are the steps that I took to create my career this way? I put in a lot of hard work. I did this. I said yes. I stepped in. I'm courageous. I did things I never thought I would do. Well, that's what you do. You bring that energy, those feelings, that dominant way of being, that attitude, that identity. Like, I'm scared. I got a promotion. I don't know if I can do this. I'm going to step in anyway. You bring that to building an intimate partnership. You bring that to calling someone in. That's when things shift. Internal creates the external. Thoughts become things, because thoughts are energy. That's where we reside. We reside on an energetic plane, and we're in the physical form of a 3D body. So when you compose your energy like that frequency, that resonance of how you are a boss in your career, right? And you bring it to intimate partnership, what happens is you start to show up differently. The questions start to come up. What can I learn? What is there to heal? What can I release? How can I reframe this so I can bring this into my life, because it's something I really, truly want, and I'm scared. And that is the courage to step in and say yes to anything that we want to create, and money as well, or anything new that we want to bring into our life, a side hustle that we might want to turn into a business, is when we're courageous enough to step in and say, yeah, I'm willing to get hurt. I'm willing to be vulnerable, because the payoff is so great to be in an intimate partnership with someone, to be a witness to my life, to experience all the blessings of the world together. I want that. I want my person in my life. I want my soul partner. I want my witness. I deserve that. And you do. And so this is the opportunity for you to start identifying what your dominant thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are, what your identity is around any area of your life where you want to create something, and take where you had a lot of success and start to see, what did I do? How did I show up? How did I get that done? I forgot I did that. Acknowledging your wins, really acknowledging for yourself for everything that you've done in the past, and taking those and recreating it in another area of your life. If you want to have more money, you want to have a partnership, you want your side hustle to turn into a business, you want to create more, get a promotion, whatever it is. If you want to have more of that, dive deep into your beliefs and your energy around whatever those areas are: relationships, money, career, business. So your blocks have a lot to do with your subconscious fears, competing intentions, and safety. And so I say it all the time, and I'll keep saying it, is that familiarity does not equal safety to the nervous system. Our unconscious or subconscious loves safety. It loves familiar. It loves patterns, and it will just keep doing the same thing over and over until we do something different. DSD, do something different. And when we start to do something different, we get nervous and afraid, and we also get excited. And then, like, ooh, look, is this excitement or fear? It can be excitement, and we just don't feel it enough to recognize that it's not all fear, it's excitement. We think everything is fear because we're so used to living in fear about new things. So new experiences bring that uncertainty. I think I talked about this on another episode. They bring the uncertainty, they bring the variety. It brings more to our life so that we can enjoy life and be lit up. One of my friends recently went to Alaska, I think, Alaska. And she said they went on their boat, which I'm going to say is a yacht. It's not a boat. It's a big ass boat. And so they went from Washington State, went up into wherever that is, God's country somewhere. And she said there was a few times where it was really sketchy. They're out in the ocean. I was just going to say the Atlantic Ocean. I do know it's the Pacific Ocean. The geography is not my best feature. I like it. I just don't know it all. But I was going to say Atlantic, but I corrected. I had to tell you that. I thought it was the Atlantic. Whatever, it's far away from here. I'm in California. So she said that there were some pretty sketchy nights. There was some pretty scary, things that happened with the boat, being in the weather. You're out in the middle of the freaking ocean. And she said, and I've never felt so alive. Oh, I loved that. I thought that is so fucking cool. We need to get shaken up out of our humdrum lives and realize how infinitely intelligent we are. God, we're so creative. I just love that she said that. It just lit me up hearing about it. So your blocks they think they keep us safe, right? It's competing intentions like, ooh, I want that, but I don't want to get hurt. So this, identifying these dominant feelings, thoughts, behaviors, and your own identity around every area of your life, what it does is it really supports you in taking, I was going to say, a bird's eye view of sort of like an observer's point of view. So putting it over there, maybe putting it up on a whiteboard or writing it down a couple of pieces of paper with a Sharpie so you can see things big. And then think like, oh, wow, in that area over there, list something that you've been really good at, really successful, and think like, how can I bring more of that to my relationship, to my marriage, to my relationship with my children, to my parents, to myself? Of course, ourselves, our relationship with us is the number one relationship of any relationship you'll have is with yourself, because you take you wherever you go. Remember, you have DNA in every relationship you're in, every situation in your life. You have DNA in that, whether it's a conversation that went sideways or not, you still have DNA in that. That's why I say when we blame and complain, we're in the drama triangle and we're in one of the victim roles because we're in the conversation. So if I'm in the conversation with someone else and I'm angry that they're in the drama triangle, I'm in there with them. There's a way to get out. You literally say, I'm not available for this. I've done it more than once, more than twice, more than a few times. Is it uncomfortable? Do people get super triggered? Yeah, because that's the only way they know how to communicate is drama triangle communication, which is blaming, shaming, guilting, manipulating, all that crap. So when you start to identify the behaviors, how you've kept yourself stuck, this isn't to shame or blame yourself. It's about awareness, always number one. Number two, acceptance without judgment. Like, wow, I see that I've been holding myself back in earning more because I'm actually afraid that I'll be on my own and people will be upset with me and my family. Maybe anyone with money they think is a bad person. And so if if I have the potential to make millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands or much more than my parents made, I don't want to be shamed. So I'm going to turn the volume down on myself so that I can please other people. Very common. Be surprised how common that is. And so this is really about, well, here's what I'll say. This is a spiritual opportunity. Every challenge, every area of our life that's challenging is a spiritual opportunity for growth and expansion. I firmly believe that. And doing this, sort of taking a snapshot, that's what we'll be doing in the visioning and manifestation workshop next month, will support you in uncovering ways that you might not know are there, that things that are holding you back. So it really will support you in uncovering those so then you can work with them. And since it's probably in your unconscious, this competing intention or block, you can't see it. And so the workshop will really help with that. The date will probably be December 14th, 2023. And I really think that it will help you with clarity and strength around what it is that you do want to create and how you can bring all of yourself to doing that in a way that's supportive and in alignment for you for 2024. So this whole thing about manifestation today is a little bit longer than I wanted it to go. And I just really want people to start I want you to be able to start 2024 off strong with clarity, knowing what you want to call in, and having the tools to support yourself in getting where you want to go. So that's my jam, is really supporting people in what they want to do. So hopefully this episode helped you, gave you some clarity, and explained a little bit about how we attract and manifest into our 3D world reality. As always, thank you so much for taking your precious time with me and spending it with me on this episode. I will see you in the next episode. Be blessed, beautiful ones.